Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I hope we all had a good lunch. Thank you, Ralph, and thank you, Tama Group, for inviting me. This is very nice. Actually, I live 10 minutes away from here, and I've passed by this office many times, so it's a pleasure to actually come in and meet all of you. So today, I'm just going to give you guys a quick, easy, digestible presentation on eCognition 10.2. We're going to go over first, what is eCognition? For the eCognition newbies, this will be a bit of a bigger picture look at what we do at eCognition, and for the, let's say, veterans of eCognition who use this for years, it'll still be very interesting to see how we at Trimble see the software. Then we're going to go into the what's new section. We're going to recap the version 10 thus far. We'll take a closer look at 3 different new features in this version, and then we'll wrap it up with some resources for everyone to see. For anyone who wants to contact us, wants to stay in contact, or just needs some help. All right. So first, what is eCognition? So the title kind of spells it because it says feature extraction. Yes, that's what we do, but it's not any feature extraction. The idea is automated feature extraction. So as with a ever-growing amount of geospatial data, there's always a greater need for feature extraction to automatically transform data into information. And what we do here at eCognition is not only transforming the data into information, is also generating more information on top. So for a lot of people who perhaps have a GIS background, this idea of visualizing information is probably comes very naturally. But the idea of generating more information from this original data is something of a new mindset. So one of the big things we focus on is data fusion. The ability to use a variety of data and combine them into one software, one package for seamless analysis of what you need. So we've already seen many data fusion today, but here's a very simple example of this kind of thing in action. Perhaps you have a roster with many different layers where you have optical data in many different bands. From this, you can already get some data out of it when you want to, say, extract building footprint from the colors, for example, from the shape. But if you have, say, LiDAR data where you also get this elevation, then that's another layer for you to be able to better classify your data. And of course, if you have third-party vector layers, it's always helpful. But the other one that's really, I think, is at the heart of the strength of eCognition is method fusion. Okay, so here you see kind of the 5 kind of ideas of what eCognition can do, but importantly is you're not limited to any one. You can use, within your workflow, you can use one or many or any combination that you feel comfortable with. And we've seen today there's a growing kind of effort to combine OBIA, the image analysis, so here this will be covered in knowledge base, with deep learning CNNs. Where you have some knowledge that you already have, you can improve upon CNNs, right? This also covers things like supervised classification, anywhere from manual learning to any kind of knowledge-based application. And of course, with unsupervised classification, say you have a particular class where you don't know exactly how to classify it, you can tell the computer, I want 5 classes, and they will find 5 classes that is most closely to resemble each other. And with computer vision, we have some new expanded capabilities to support external models, which we'll get into a little bit more later. But this method fusion idea is something we have been focused on over the version 10. And then a quick introduction to our suite of softwares, the eCognition suite. The heart of which is, of course, developer. This is where you do all your rule set development, for fast prototyping, for data analysis, for application development. When someone says they're doing eCognition, this is most likely what they're working with. Of course, we also have eCognition server, which allows for the batch processing and the parallel processing of your rule sets. So you want to apply this type of rule set for many different images. eCognition server allows you to do this automated. And we also have eCognition architect, which is a framework to configure and execute applications generated in developer. So this is great when you have a rule set and you want to hand it over to someone who, say, is not necessarily an expert in the field, but you want to give them a little bit of playroom inside, let's say, a graphical interface to change some of the parameters to run them. The architect would be a great option for them. So what's new in the latest developments in eCognition? So a quick recap of the version 10 thus far. Version 10 came out back in November of 2020. And then after 2 maintenance releases, we released 10.1 in May of 2021. And then just last year in December, we released 10.2, which is where we're at now. Since then, we have 2 small maintenance releases, with the latest one coming in just 2 weeks ago, where we fixed some bugs and give you a couple of new options to play with. So if you haven't updated, go ahead and do that from our webpage. But here are the highlights for version 10.2. First is deep learning for native point clouds. Automatic point cloud classification has been revolutionized and is based on deep learning for higher accuracy. We have a new algorithm it's a inbuilt algorithm where you can just give the algorithm the point cloud and we're able to classify things for you. We also have expanded integration of deep learning models. So I think someone mentioned before that full TF save model integration enables you to use not only semantic segmentation, but also instance segmentation. And I'll get into a little bit more in detail as to what exactly that means. We also streamlined the automated accuracy assessment for a lot of our users. This has been a bit of a pain point in eCognition, as it's not always the most intuitive thing, but we have overhauled it and it's automated and it should be calculated directly through a rule set. So no need to break out those Excel sheets again. On top of these major features, we also have increased native vector handling. So we kind of built out this vector linearization tools to kind of improve the linear detection of linear objects. And we also boosted the performance of the handling of large attribute tables, so like the large vector files. And of course, in general, we're also always listening for feedback. We improved the general usability in a lot of ways. In the background, layer alias handling is now a lot more intuitive, I think. File navigation has been made better. Feature selection, you can now drag and drop features directly from the list into the dialog box, so you can just directly, very intuitively see all the features you need. Level toggling is back. You can now just click on and off between your different levels. And then we also had a new function, kind of zoom to layer, which is kind of maybe a little late to the field, but you can now right-click the layer you're interested in, and then it'll show you directly the maximum extent of that layer. So let's give a closer look at the first 3 kind of features that we had. So the first one is the DL for native point clouds. This is a model that we built and trained in-house using native point clouds. Meaning we didn't, in a lot of typical eCognition workflows before, you might have had to rasterize point clouds, but this we trained it directly on point clouds and it can be applied directly onto point clouds. So you can do this with either terrestrial or aerial data, and all you have to give it is your point cloud data, which just makes it very streamlined and easy to use. And on the right, you can see a quick little animation of something like this at work. Okay, and then let's take a quick closer look at instance segmentation. So for those who don't know the difference between semantic and instance segmentation, it's really quite cool that we can actually now support both. So traditionally, what already exists in eCognition is this semantic segmentation, meaning what you get out is a heat map. And what does this heat map tell you? Let's say in this example, we're looking for cars. A heat map tells you for this pixel, how likely is this pixel a car, which is a very kind of intuitive way of thinking about this type of deep learning classification. But instance segmentation models kind of frames the question a little bit differently. It asks, where is an instance of a car? Meaning, where, if I had to draw a box, where is this a car? So it's not asking on the pixel level, it's asking the object level. And I think a very intuitive way of thinking about this would be if semantic segmentation is pixel-based, this is kind of the object-based version of that. So what's great about this, it outputs directly into image segments. So in the framework of Obaya and eCognition, this is very intuitive because once you run this model, you already have image segments that are classified into that class. So everything you can do with this image segments normally in eCognition, buffer, reduce, relations, anything like this, you can already do after running this model. Yeah. So there's a quick example. This model is a third-party model from TF Hub that was trained on the COCOS data sets, and it looks for cars and then some traffic lights. Yeah. And lastly, we will take a closer look at the accuracy assessment. So those who haven't done it before, it can be a little bit confusing because the traditional way of doing accuracy assessment involves using the sample layer, which objectively can be a little bit confusing because if part of your classification process is selecting samples, and using the samples again for accurate assessment is kind of not necessarily intuitive. But of course, this option is still there for those who are already used to this workflow. You can still use samples and match that against your classification, and the program will still generate a confusion matrix for you and get all the good statistics that you like. But we've improved in a number of ways. First, you can bring your own vectors, whether it be a polygon or if it's point data, you can convert those directly into samples, or my personal better alternative is you can turn it into object variables. So kind of just a general variable for image segments. Then you can map these attribute names with your class names, and from there it will generate automatically your accuracy assessment, the confusion matrix at the end. And of course, this is also possible in batch processing. So as you can see here, one of the options is file. You can import something that's a flattened file. Once you a flattened confusion matrix is just all the boxes except in one line. Okay, and when you have multiple projects within one workspace, you run each one, you just add another line for you, and that way you can see at each project exactly how they compare with each other in terms of accuracy, in terms of the confusion matrix. So it's a great tool. It's something we're really proud of that we have finally made better. That is that, and just a quick summary of 10.2. It's going to deliver you the cutting-edge technology that come to expect from eCognition to ensure the quality of the results that keep you a leg up the competition without that steep learning curve. The deep learning on native point clouds is the sort of the groundbreaking new technology that we've integrated into eCognition and saves a lot of unnecessary conversions between different file formats. The fully integrated automated accuracy assessment makes all project workflows much easier and benefits the rule development at pretty much every step. And the build out of the deep learning support model gives you more access to pre-trained models and a direct OBIO output, especially when you use the instant segmentation model. And yeah, that's what's new in 10.2. And now just some resources, because learning never really stops. If you have ideas for eCognition, please contact us or use the community software wish list. We're always there looking for features for feedback. Contact us anytime. It really do help us a lot. Other than that, also on the same community page, we have tutorials. We have our discussion forums for any technical questions you might have. I'm always there trying to answer questions, or even one of the other customers are there trying to answer questions. Come find us on our LinkedIn group. I'm posting a new tip every week. It's usually something small you would never think of, so come check us out. Of course, we have our on-site and online trainings. On-site trainings is still available. Please contact our sales for this, and then also online trainings through their platform, Trimble Learn. We have a regular webinar series on a range of topics. Of course, we have a lot of self-help portal. In particular, I'd like to recommend our YouTube channel, eCognition TV, where we regularly produce tutorial videos for new features and sample workflows. And check us out, and of course, write us at support. We're always happy to answer questions. Also in German, available in German for those who really like this service. And yeah, I think that's everything from me today. Credits where credits due. This presentation was prepared by Keith, our old product manager. So thanks to him. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. And I'll leave you with this pretty video of instant segmentation. Thank you.